Is now politics, the game of numbers, has lately proven to be the mind-engaging game of chess, and the choice of the running mate was the toughest for the big political heavyweights compared with the castling in a bid to hasten the development and control the center of the game. And as it turns out, Kenya Kwanza castled on the king side to prominently advance on the interest of the vote-rich Mount Kenya region. The Azimio la Umoja One Kenya consequently castled on the queen side, settling on Martha Karua as the running mate. The choice also brings in women factor for the top seat, but will this influence the numbers? On the flip side, Kalonzo Musyoka's defection to run it alone and failure to pick Professor Kithure kindiki. Is it a hit or a make for the competitive advantage? And joining me for the discussion as we find the answers is Somono Musyoki, who is a seasoned political analyst, and Kefa Omori, who is a political analyst and an MP Aspirant for Bobasi Constituency. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for dedicating your time for this discussion.
Thank you for having us.
Right, now we shall just move directly to the discussion, and let's get the ball rolling. So finally, the political bigwigs have settled on their running mates. The people who will be playing the second fiddle. Kefa, what I would want to know, what do you make of the choice of the Azimio, settling for Martha Karua? Is it, a big hit to them, or is it now the best game plan they had, on this position?
Thank you very much, Mondi, for the opportunity to invite me today. For the choice of Azimio, for me it's a yes, and it's a big win, especially on women and young people who are looking on someone who can mentor them into good leadership in future. Looking at the candidate of choice from Azimio side, it shows that they have taken time to look at who can really bring a face of transformation when it comes to leadership of this country, because we have had so many times politics and politicians taking charge. That is why we have a deficit of mentorship leaders, young leaders coming into that level.
Right, now on the other side, Musyoki, now that you're paying allegiance to the Kenya Kwanza side. Now, we've seen Kenya Kwanza settled on Rigathi Gachagua compared to Kithure kindiki, Professor, and we've seen a lot of reactions actually from the people of Tharaka Nithi, the kind of reactions they made towards the selection of Rigathi Gachagua. How do you feel? Was it really the best move for Deputy President William Ruto to pick Gachagua as his running mate?
I think it was a very robust discussion, something that was very tight. But at the end of the day, I think Rigathi was a better choice. Why? Because this is a game of numbers. Politics is a game of numbers. And when you look at the numbers behind Kithure and the numbers behind Gachagua, you see that Gachagua has more numbers. When you look at Kithure, he's a Mount Kenya East. And Gachagua has been speaking for the several months. We've seen Gachagua being on the front line whenever Ruto has been trying to lure the Mount Kenya. We've seen Gachagua standing for the people of Mount Kenya. We've seen the kind of stances. Some of the times he's been able to even utter against His Excellency Ruto, fighting for the people of Mount Kenya. So he's a face. He's a face of Mount Kenya. That is one, and we see he's the only person who can fight Uhuru Kenyatta. We see that Uhuru Kenyatta has decided to support Raila. So Ruto wanted somebody who can stand against Uhuru, who can withstand the pressure that comes with Uhuru campaigning against you. So when you see Kithure is a really good guy. He's a really he's an elite. He portrays that picture. He's got that good picture. But he can't really mobilize people against someone like Uhuru Kenyatta. So I think Ruto was left with no choice than to take Gachagua in the case of numbers.
Right. Yeah. And we've actually seen from the press briefing that he was making, he said that he'll be taking some times off politics. I think the pressure was really, tough on him, or probably. Right. Now, Kefa, I don't know, what do you feel of Kalonzo Musyoka? He was not there. He was not present at the unveiling of the running mate in the Azimio One Kenya. And he really pushed for the writing of how the coalition was supposed to move. It was Azimio la Umoja, and then he brought it up to be Azimio One Kenya. But then he's moved. He's defected. He's saying that he's going to vie he's going to be on the ballot in the August 9 general elections as a president, where he also named his running mate, Sunkuli. So but we've not actually seen most of these Azimio leaders talking ill about the move that was taken by Kalonzo. Do you think really it was a hit for the Azimio team?
Okay, thank you, Mondi. Again, looking at Kalonzo as a former vice president of this country, decisively from the look of things, from an ordinary Kenyan, it looks like it's a hit. But politically, Kalonzo is trying to play a game of balancing, whereby he doesn't want to look like he's giving up or he's giving in, but the guy is playing a game politically, whereby at the end of the day, he is a Azimio man. Because he really wanted to become a running mate to Raila, and then it wasn't possible because, of course, the regional balance and also the game of numbers. And then the demand that this is the right time that Kenya had to choose a woman as a running mate. So Kalonzo had no option than to take the direction that he has taken. But at the end of the day, according to my take, Kalonzo is in Azimio. He's just doing a game of balancing.
All right.
Yes.
Now, Musyoki, speaking of a game of balancing, what do you foresee really in the August polls? Because Kalonzo, I mean, he has numbers. There are people who really strongly support his move even as he defected, saying that he's going to vie as a president. There are people who, rally behind him, and it's not a small number. There are a number of people actually who rally behind him. And of course, the constitutional requirement for one to be declared as a president, he has to win by 50+1, So what do you really see in the August? Because we're also having a number of independent candidates who are rallying for this top seat. Are you really seeing probably something like a runoff in these August elections, with probably considering what Kalonzo has done?
Yeah, okay. What I can say is that we cannot be certain, but one, it will depend on how Kalonzo will brand himself from now on. Will he stand on his own shoes, or will he go again and rally behind Ruto or Raila? If he stands as an independent candidate, as someone who's focused, and he goes back to his backyard, we know that the Kambas have 2 million votes, and these are people who have a soft spot for Kalonzo.
Yes.
So if he goes back to the eastern region and asks these people to support him, and he shows that he's really serious and that he just took a detour, but is back to the presidential race, then he can garner a good number of votes, and those number of votes will now make these two candidates not reach the 50+1. So reaching the 50+1 will only depend if Kalonzo as a third party will go and sleep, then one of the teams can get 50+1. But if Kalonzo goes and campaigns really well at his backyard, and we see that also he's taken a Masai, how will he brand this Masai?
Right.
Yeah, it's Sunkule. He's a really good guy. If you've heard him, you've heard that he's a very good orator.
Sure.
I believe he's also a better orator in the Masai.
Yes.
So if he goes to the Masai people and asks the Masai people to support him, they have thousands of votes. So if this Masai, if Ole Sunkule brings hundreds of votes, and Kalonzo looks probably for around 800K, they get a billion votes, definitely we are going for a second round.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, maybe away from that, let's now take a look at the people who have been selected as the running mates. And for this, I'd want now Kefa to probably talk about the Kenya Kwanza's running mate. And Kefa, what do you really make of the selection that was made by Kenya Kwanza settling on Rigathi Gachagua? And we see when this announcement was made, there were online sensations of people talking about Rigathi Gachagua, the graft cases probably that are against him, until he said that he's not guilty until proven in the court of law. And a deputy president is a national leader. He's a leader of people in Nairobi, people in Mombasa, people in Marsabit, every part of the country. Do you really see Rigathi Gachagua as the best, leader to being the second in command?
Looking at the character of Gachagua, to me, is a questionable character when it comes to integrity, because we've seen so much behind him in terms of corruption. And looking at Kenya, where we are headed to, we have had leaders say, we are fighting politics. We are fighting corruption.
Corruption, yes.
And if at all Kenya Kwanza wants to fight corruption, and they go ahead and appoint somebody who has a questionable character in terms of integrity, it doesn't give us the picture that we want to look at in case this guy gets into power. So to me, Gachagua was not the best. If Ruto was to choose a candidate who is going to bring that meaning of fighting corruption. Of course, I have not seen them so much talk of how they plan to fight corruption. And from where I sit, I look at this as just a normal game of politics to get into power.
Right.
Yes.
Now, Musyoki, I don't know now what you also feel about the running mate on the other side, where we have Martha Karua. And of course, when you talk about Rigathi Gachagua, and many Kenyans talk about the integrity issues, that's why we can't really prosecute Kefa for saying that. Of course, that's just his opinion. What do you feel about Martha Karua? Do you think she really, as a woman, has all that is required for a leader who plays the second in command in the country? What faults probably could you be having for Martha Karua?
It's an interesting question,
yes.
And I want us to look at this in two dimensions. In this politics and leadership, it's actually a two coin.
Yes.
There is the leadership side coin, and there's the politics side coin.
Right.
When I look at the leadership side coin, Martha Karua is a hero. Martha Karua is a heroine. Sorry, she's been there since the fight for since the fight for multipartyism. She has been a fighter for the rights for women. She's a true leader, and she portrays that leadership. And with that, we can say she's a good leader. She's a safe pair of hands for Kenyans as a deputy president. But two, you look at the side of the numbers. When you look at the side of the numbers, she cannot rally numbers as much as someone like Rigathi Gachagua can. Another thing I want to bring to your attention is that when Martha Karua was vying against, Anne Waiguru for Kirinyaga governor, Anne Waiguru was still having charges for NYS saga, hundreds of millions. But who won? It is her. Look at the 2013 elections. The 2013 elections, Honorable Ruto and Honorable Uhuru were facing charges against humanity.
Yes.
And who won? It is Ruto and Uhuru. And like, the then Raila and Kalonzo, who looked as the safest pair of hands. So really, Kenyans don't look at that when they go to the ballot. That is never on the ballot. You see. So it is that conversation you're saying that when you look at mobilization, the kind of numbers, the kind of people that rally behind, Gachagua on the ground, you will see that Gachagua has spent more time, and the reason why he has been given that position is because he has spent more time on the ground. You've always seen him every rally in Mount Kenya. He has been there. But look at Martha Karua. Where has she been? She just joined Azimio the other day, so she has never been on the ground to actually listen to people. And when you listen to Martha Karua's speeches, she never interacts with people. She never has that chemistry with people. She only goes to tell people, tell this person, we are not going to allow, tell this person. But when you look at Rigathi Gachagua's, history, his chemistry with the people of Mount Kenya for the past around 8 months, you'll realize that this is a person who can move masses, unlike Martha Karua. But another thing I want to say is that the moment His Excellency Ruto chose Rigathi Gachagua, that was the end of any other candidate. Raila had to choose Martha Karua. There was no option. Why? Because this is a Mount Kenya. So the moment Honorable Raila wouldn't choose a Mount Kenya strong person, then he would definitely lose the 6 million votes of Mount Kenya. So he was left no option but to take the Mount Kenya. And look who was the strong Mount Kenya in his case. We had someone like Peter Munya. This is someone who is in the Mount Kenya East, which only have 1.2 million votes. So where will these 4 million votes go to?
But the greatest actually interest that we're having here is, is not about the mobilization that a leader has. We want to look at one thing that, this leader is a national leader. We want someone who represents the whole country, who can be sent probably in the US, in the UN conventions, to be a face of the country. Yeah? And we've seen actually the integrity issues that have sprouted when we talk of Rigathi Gachagua, and of course some other things, of course, that are mentioned when you're talking about the deputy president. Now, I don't know what Kefa really you feel about what Solomon is saying. He's telling us that Gachagua has a lot of influence on the people, but now the question is the integrity issue. Is he really the best person to represent, the face of the nation?
I feel burning from inside on what my brother is trying to tell us here.
I could see that.
I'm so sorry for. In fact, I'm apologizing on behalf of young people of this country. Looking at my brother here, who is coming from Kenya Kwanza, trying to tell us that numbers matters than matters of this country. That is absolutely wrong, because we do have a country that we need to see the change, because we are young people. As I talk, I represent the face of young people of this country. As Kefa, I'm also a leader. I'm looking up on what kind of government we are going to have next. Is this government going to create more problems or going to solve problems? And all of us understands that this country, the major problem we have is corruption.
Sure.
When you look at the formation of Kenya Kwanza and the game of Gachagua, is not adding up when it comes to integrity. And if we are talking about numbers, we are all Kenyans, we are all voters. Kenya voters right now, they are well informed. This is not the 19th century whereby you can be told theories and narrative and then you go ahead. But now Kenyans want to scrutinize and check on who is going to take charge of this nation. All of us, we are feeling the heat of corruption because things have gone up and things are messed up because of corruption. If you talk about somebody who has a questionable character when it comes to corruption, and then you try to praise and glorify the same character to get into power, then we don't have a space. Then we are not taking Kenya forward. We are actually taking Kenya backwards. So I don't think Gachagua is the right man for the position. Let us not discuss about numbers. Right. Kenyans are going to make a choice. We have a presidential candidate. He has chosen a running mate. Are we having the right the right pair of people on that top post? That is the main thing we are going to discuss. But right. If we are going to discuss about numbers, then we are getting it wrong.
Right. Now, I don't know, Musyoki, what I don't know how you conceptualize what Kefa is saying, because it's very important, actually. He's saying that the one problem that this country is facing is the issue of corruption. And, when the leaders of Kenya Kwanza, they get to the podium, they tell Kenyans of how they want to, make the economy better than what it is. But I don't know, maybe other Kenyans probably don't get it clear, but how is it really that they would want to fight? How do you really feel that with this combination, they will fight this issue of corruption?
I'll only say one statement. I'll quote one thing that Ahmed Nasir said one time at a TV interview, that whenever a Kenyan politician starts talking about corruption, stop listening.
Right.
It is that simple. Whoever it is, whether it's Martha Karua, whether it's Raila, whether it's Ruto, whether it's whoever it is in that top circle, whenever they start talking about corruption, just stop listening.
Right.
Because that is rubbish they're talking.
Now, I don't know if we are to go by that, but Kenyans really need to be, they look up to our leaders. Kenyans look up to our leaders, and we need someone who can give directions. So I don't know what you really make of what Musyoki is saying on that.
I still beg to differ on what he's saying. Looking at my friend here, he's a young man like me.
Right.
And then he's trying to show me we have given up as a country that we cannot be able to defeat corruption. I look at the kind of people he's quoting. Abdel Nasir, when he said that when you see anybody talking about corruption, you just stop. watching or listening. That is wrong. We must have a candid conversation around this right from where we sit. Because if we are going to continue praising and glorifying these fellas who are getting into leadership, then we are getting it wrong. Then we don't need to have an election in this country. What I'm trying to say here, we must have a clear pathway on how we are going to deal with the corruption. In fact, we are not supposed to deal with corruption. Corruption is supposed to be killed.
Right.
If at all your camp, Kenya Kwanza, is talking about economy, where is the formula of killing corruption first? Because if you are talking of, you are going to talk or discuss about how you're going to give us the economy, how you're going to change the economy, tell us the formula on how you're going to change or to work out on corruption first. That is why I said, looking at the formation of Kenya Kwanza and the choice of running mate, a person who has a questionable character right from the county level to where he is now, still I don't see whether the solution is going to be found in Kenya Kwanza. So I just spoke about one Martha Karua. I have so many reasons why I'm very much comfortable about Martha Karua as an individual. Look at what she stands for. Look at what she said when there was BBI proposal. She stood fast. She stood firm, and came up with she came up with Linda Katiba. She was fighting those things that she did not see will fit the Kenyans.
Right.
So, my brother, please stop praising and glorifying corruption. Let us speak this thing. I know it can happen. I know this is our country where we belong. We don't have any other country. So if we don't discuss it and say it from where we see it, then we don't get it right.
All right. Yeah, maybe Musyoki, let us probably also give you a chance to, not really to talk much about the corruption aspect, because politics. When you're looking at politics, it's like a coin. There's a dark side of the coin, and of course the upper part of the coin. So moving forward, now that you are a scholar, you are a senior political analyst, you get to see the politics of this other side, compare it with the politics of this other side, and then you make an informed decisions of probably where would you want to lead other people's to. So moving forward, Musyoki, I don't know, what do you really feel that which camp really talks well of the problem, the challenges that this country is facing, that probably you'll also wish to tell Kenyans to line behind a certain camp that will probably solve the problems of this country?
One, I'm going to start by from the moment we talked about the ranking mate, I said politics has two coins.
Yes.
And I said there's the leadership side and there's the politicking side.
Right.
And I said when we look at the leadership side, then Martha Karua is a better candidate.
Sure.
When you look at the politicking side, then Rigathi Gachagua is a better candidate. You see, which is a fact, because what he's saying is a fact.
Right.
And I agree with that we need to look at leadership, but this is politics, and always you can't disalign, misalign politics and numbers, because what is democracy? It's about the one with the largest number wins.
Sure.
So
maybe still on that, we could actually reflect on the Nairobi gubernatorial leadership when we had Kalonzo and not Kalonzo but Mike Sonko and Igathe. One was a politician and one was a good leader.
Yeah.
Probably now, do you think that was actually what probably should have surfaced in these presidential and the running mates? Because talking of probably on the Azimio side, we can say that Raila Odinga is a good politician.
Yeah.
Now coupled with a good leader.
Good leader. Yeah.
So what do you say of the Kenya Kwanza?
The Kenya Kwanza, those are good, two good politicians, two very good politicians.
And do you feel that is really good for the country?
And I said when it comes to corruption, we can't have that conversation, because why? One thing we have to know is that every politician at the top there, he has skeletons hidden in their closet.
Yes.
That is a fact. We might not know. One challenge I can pose for someone like Martha Karua, when Kenya was at its deepest moment, she was the one who was there. She was the minister for justice when Kenya was fighting. And she was the one who was telling the current IBC chairman.
It was CCK by then.
Yeah, the CCK by then. Say it is Kibaki. Say it is Kibaki pressuring them, and that is what led to the 2007, 2008. So that is already a skeleton in her closet. What you're trying to say is that all of these people have skeletons. All of these people, have issues, but Kenyans really don't look at that. They look at the manifesto that they present to the ground. And when I look at the manifestos, I think the Kenya Kwanza really talks much about the conversation. When you look at the Kenya Kwanza side, it's a conversation about economy. When you look at ANC, they say pesa mfukoni, we say bottom up economy.
Yes.
But when you look at the Raila and Karua side, it is about democracy. It is about fighting for rights, freedom. But really, this time around, people, that won't be in the ballot. What will be in the ballot is the conversation about the economics. And I'll quote something that I saw yesterday, some analysis. I don't remember the guy what he said, but he said that Raila and Karua are the best ticket, but not for this election.
Right.
The right ticket, but not for this election.
Right.
Probably the time around 2002 when we were really hard on when we were really hard on the ethics and and the fighting for multipartyism and such a thing, they would win.
Right.
Very fast round.
All right. Maybe let us, because my director is telling me that we're running out of time. Kefa, as we're winding up this discussion, you're an aspiring leader, aspiring member of parliament. So moving forward, which message would you wish to pass to the Kenyans and probably your electorates at large for the constituency where you're vying for?
Thank you very much. This is Kefa Omori, an aspiring member of parliament, Bobasi Constituency, on an independent ticket. I want to tell my fellow Kenyans, first, let us have a peaceful election. We are all brothers and sisters. At the end of the day, politics is a game or is a political process that it's seasonal. But we are going to remain brothers and sisters at the end of the day. To my people of Bobasi, I know you're watching me. I love you so much. And I promise that once you give me a chance to represent and serve you, I want to tell you that you're going to enjoy my leadership, where I will showcase what I have as a passionate leader and an advocate of good governance and leadership from our region. Thank you very much. All
right. Solomon, do I give you at least a minute to wind up?
Yeah, I'll only say one thing, that it's time the youth, we invite ourselves to the table, because we've seen that, the elderly invite themselves and they don't have that much, space for the youth. So let's invite ourselves to the table where we have the national discussion on matters economics and matters youth empowerment. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for dedicating your time for this discussion. And I think that's pretty much it. Of that, we call that part a wrap.